Okay. Let's turn up the volume. Sorry. This way. Okay. So today we're going to try to get through sections 1, 2, and 1, 3. Today, one of the most important things we're going to discuss is called the segment addition postulate. All right, the segment addition postulate. Now, for this segment addition postulate, can anybody tell me who was paying attention yesterday? I said postulates and theorems. What is a postulate? You remember?
Can't be proven.
Yeah, it can't be proven. You just have to accept it. Now, generally, when they say they can't be proven, what they mean is they've just done so many different observations that they just assume that it's true. All right. Now, to me, I found this hard to believe when my geometry teacher told me this is a postulate and we can't prove. All right. So it basically says this. All right. I have a segment. And here is A, and here is C. And they say B is between A and C. Now, if B is between A and C, that just means A, B, and C are collinear. All right. Now, they call it the segment addition postulate because probably what is true? Who can tell me? Think about the name, segment addition postulate. So what is it? Yes, but tell me what segments. Help him, tell him. Equals. Yes, that's how silly this is. The segment addition postulate. They're telling me that they cannot prove that AB plus BC equals what? AC. All right. Every time I say AC, Siri comes on.
Siri there, let me know.
All right. So that is the segment addition postulate. All right. AB plus BC equals AC. Now, some geometry books will say that B is between A and C. All right. Other geometry books will say A, B, and C are collinear and B is between A and C. Then AB plus BC equals AC. Does everybody agree how simple that is? You didn't need a postulate for them to tell you that. All right, so based on that little bit of information, now we will apply that postulate to these next problems. All right, so everybody, again, just fill me in for number 1. NQ would be what? Yeah, we can say 2.25, but since they're written as fractions, we can just say 2 1/4. All right. Everybody's good with that? Simple. All right. Come on now, speak up. Did I hit record on here? Does it remember? Yes, I did. I'm sorry. All right. So now, number 2. AC equals what? 10.1. Easy as that. So GH is probably what? Everybody's good? Tell me.
Why is it 5.3?
Well, what are we missing?
Oh,
You with me?
Yeah.
So in this case, they give us the whole. All right. We used to say the parts, the sum of the parts equal the whole. All right. All right. Now, here's what I'm talking about. Y is between X and Z. So demonstrate that. Y is between X and Z. And once you write it out, now it's just clear. You're just writing a couple equations. So for number 4, we're just going to say what? What?
X is 5.
No. Someone help these guys. Come on, girls, tell me. 5x plus x equals 25. Perfect. Right? Because xy, if you need to put it on your segment, yz is x. And now here's, that's not correct. Y, oh, yeah. You said that. Whoever said 5, you're correct. That was my mistake. Look over here. This whole thing, I just expected it to be something different. So x, y is 25, right? You'll see as we go through these problems. So if xy is 25 and 5x, so you're correct. I'm sorry. So that's x equals what? So yes, x equals 5. Now it says find the value of yz also. So yz is also just what? 5. All right, so now let's look at number 5. All right. So now if you go back to your picture, you can just say xy is what? 12, yz is 2x, and xz. Notice how I'm drawing xz so I can see it. So now what's the equation? Tell me what the equation is. Use the segment addition postulate. Wow, maybe I thought it wasn't as obvious. This plus
12 plus 2x.
this, right, equals the whole thing, right? So 12 plus 2x equals 28. Everybody's good with that, right? Now, of course, we're practicing our mental math, all right? We're not subtracting 12 and dividing by 2. Everybody in here, it's just looking at that, saying, obviously, the answer is x equals what?
8.
All right, everybody needs to just tell me x equals 8. All right, practice your mental math. All right, now we know that x is 8. We're looking for yz. So we say yz is equal to what? 16. All right, just to make sure. All right, let's look at number 6. So I need help with the equation here. Go ahead.
It'd be 4x, so that's y. So 4x plus 3x.
No. Yeah, now we're in business. 4x plus 3x equals 42. So everybody's just going to tell me x equals 6. And then you're going to tell me that yz is equal to 18. All right, one more just to make sure. All right. Somebody else now. What do we got? Yeah, Sebastian, go.
2x plus 1
2x plus 1
plus 6x.
plus 6x. And again, we're just using our mental math and we're just saying x equals 10. And if x is 10, all right, I'm now looking for yz. So yz is what? 60. All right. Anybody have any questions? I told you, it's very simple. The first chapter is really easy. Okay, so now determine whether each pair of segments is congruent. All right, what does congruent mean? They're the same, exactly. Now, segments are congruent. Segments are congruent. What's the difference between congruence and equal? Congruent is when you're talking about shapes. Equal is when you're talking about numbers. All right, so if you say BC equals 2 and BC is congruent to 2, which one is better? Equal, because you're talking about numbers. All right. If I say BE is equal to CD. Is that the way you should write that? No, because you're comparing what? Segments. So segments are said to be what? Congruent. All right. Does that make sense? Now, when you take a test, do I really care if you accidentally put equal or congruent? No. All right, I don't. Just go ahead and turn it off. Remember, it doesn't matter to me at all. If there's an interruption, just find out who it is. Find out who it is. Just turn it off. It's really not a big deal. It's exactly how I want to do it. All right. So once again, sides are congruent. All right. Sides are congruent. Sides are equal to a number. All right. If you're talking about a measurement. So in this case, determine whether each pair of segments is congruent. Is BE congruent to CD? Yes, because their measures are equal. The sides are congruent. All right. So this would be yes. All right. Look at MP and NP. Congruent? No, not congruent. And then finally, number 10. Is WX congruent to WZ? No, not congruent. All right, now can somebody tell me what this tick mark means here and here? That means they're congruent. Exactly. So what is the measure of XW? 9, right? Now, what if I came over here and put a 1 tick mark here and 1 tick mark there? Then what's true about all 4 sides? They are congruent. All right. Now we know that's not true, so I'm going to put 2 tick marks here and 2 tick marks here. Now that means the top 2 are congruent because they both have 1 tick mark, and the sides are congruent because they have 2 tick marks. Everybody's good with that explanation of tick marks? All right. All right. Now finding LN. All right. Finding LN. So the distance between 2 points is said to be the absolute value of A minus B. But do I really tell kids that? No, because you should be able to look at, say, how far is it from L to N? 6, right? You don't need to know it's the absolute value of the difference. Now, we're going to say it's the absolute value of distance because absolute value is referring to what? Distance. All right. Now, why do they say it's the absolute value? Because you can do what? 3 minus 6, or you can do what? 6 minus 3, and you'll get the same result. It doesn't matter. All right. So when you're measuring forwards and backwards, when you're referring to distance, does not matter. Everybody okay with that? Distance can't be negative. All right. So quickly, tell me what JL is. Help me. JL is how much? I think it's 8. Do we agree? Because this is -5, right? And this is 3. So from -5 to 3, 8. We're all good. All right. Now from last year, who remembers how to find the distance between 2 points? It was a distance formula. Does anybody remember? That's close. Distance is equal to square root x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. All right, so make sure you have that written down. That's a formula that we use continuously. See if I can convert that. There we go. So there is your distance formula. X2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. All right. Now this is a good review because we are always using square roots. All right. We're always using square roots. So now let's see how we're doing here for 13. All right. Distance is equal to, now of course we're going to do some mental math in our head. Subtract the 2 x's. What do I get?
-2.
And then, right, we agree? Now, I'll write this one out, but -3 minus -1. Does it matter if you do -1 minus -3?
Yes.
No, because you're gonna end up what?
Um,
Squaring them, right? And when you squared it, it's gonna make it positive. Is everybody good with that? So don't worry about the order in which you do the numbers. All right. So now that you understand that, you said it was -3 plus 1 squared. What's that? 4 plus. Now subtract the y's.
4 squared,
4 squared is what?
16,
16. So the distance is the square root of what?
20.
20. Now, from last year, of course, everybody remembers how to break down a radical. Everybody needs to be an expert at radicals. What is that?
2
Wow, thank you very much. I am impressed. Very good. 2 radical 5. Does anybody forget how to do that? I'll be happy to explain. Everybody's good? All right, that's what I'm expecting. Yes, Tanner, what?
7.
All right, here we go. Let's just check 14 real quick. All right, now again, I'm expecting you guys to be good at mental math. So here we go. Square root. Subtract the x's. What do I get? 6 squared, which is
36.
36. Plus, subtract,
-1,
squared,
16.
16. So now listen, here's something else I'm going to now try to teach you, right? Instead of making that 52, what perfect square is in 52? What perfect square is in 52? How did I know it was 4? How did I know it was 4 without much thought? Because what did I just add? And that has a common what? 4, right? So a lot of times before you add, you should look at the two numbers that you're adding and say, do they have a perfect square in them? Right? So that's how I knew that 36 had, or I knew that there was a common factor of 4. So that makes it 4. And then believe it or not, that's just 9 plus 4, even though we knew 52 is 4 times 13. All right. Sometimes if the numbers are bigger, it's harder when you add them to break them down. All right. So we know that the distance is what now? Thank you very much. 2 radical 13. Of course, most kids just write 52 and they come down here and re-break it down to 4 times 13. I want you to try to avoid that. Okay, so now, believe it or not, 15 through, 26. See how I made a little, is your typo? Yeah, just move it over, right? Does everybody see that? 26, I don't know what I was doing.
My page is blank.
I don't have a. I would have, my side is still down.
Wow.
My next question is 27.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so you guys got lucky. The printing press had a problem. And then I suppose you don't have, then you don't have 36 through 46 either, right? All righty, that's, okay, that's too bad. All right,
Good job, Cyber.
so here we go. So you're just gonna have to make some notes and then I'll excuse you from that part of the homework. All right, because the next page is just a repeat of everything. All right, so it's not really that big of a deal. All right, that's exactly the same questions, just different numbers. All right, so now you have this page, right? Right, okay. So now, all right, I want to find the midpoint. All right. What do you think midpoint means? The middle, right? Obvious. All right. So if I'm looking at DE, right now, the question is, I'm agreeing with you that 9 is the midpoint. All right. Now I want someone to determine how I could create a formula or give me a formula that could determine the midpoint. Just like I told you that the distance between any 2 points is the absolute value of A minus B. So who can give me a formula for this? Tell me. Well,
Is it like,
So let's test your hypothesis. 11 minus 7 divided by 2, 4, 2. That's not the midpoint. But then you would add it on. That's one way. That's one formula. Then you would add it on to either D or subtract it from E. But there's a better one. What is it?
Add the two numbers and divide by two.
You're amazing. So you would say A plus B divided by 2. And then to look smart, you would say what? Absolute value, right? Well, no, I'm sorry. You wouldn't say absolute value. Leave that out because we're not doing distance. It's a point. So it's just A plus B divided by 2. All right. That's the midpoint formula when you're on a number line. But once again, guys, is this really necessary right here? No. Right. If you can't figure that out, we have some problems. All right. But that is a formula. All right. That is a formula that's in the book that I always tell kids don't really need to memorize something like that. All right. You should be able to figure that out easily. All right. So everybody take a look at BC. What do we have here? Right. All right. Now everybody figure out what BD and AD is, and then we'll see how good you're doing. All right. So what is BD? 3. What's AD? Somebody said 2. Somebody said 2. Somebody said 1.5. Let's double check. What is it? Is it 1.5? If you thought it was 2, check yourself. And if you need me to explain 1.5, I didn't even do the problem, so I'm assuming you guys are all right. Is it 1.5? All right, 1.5. We'll go with that. Okay, so now with this little bit of information, now I have a point, 2 points on a coordinate plane here. How do I find those midpoints? How do I find the midpoint? Can somebody tell me what they think the midpoint would be? Tell me. Anybody? Somebody say it again. 4, 2 is definitely the midpoint. So now give me a formula for midpoint. Yeah, it's on the middle, so. Oh, exactly. What am I going to add though? That is exactly right. There you have it, guys. That's X1, X2. This is Y1. This is Y2. So again, I don't understand what the big deal about midpoint formula is. All right, but midpoint formula is X1 plus X2 divided by 2, comma, Y1 plus Y2 divided by 2. All right, anybody have any issues with that? That's just the midpoint formula. So you're just simply adding the x's, divide by 2, add the y's, divide by 2. So somebody tell me 32. What's the midpoint? Did you see it was -4? -4. You're not subtracting, right? So the midpoint is what? Yeah, 1/2, comma 0. Come on now, don't write the answer after I tell you. Write the answer first and then see if you're right. 1/2, comma 0. Everybody's good with that, right? Simple. All right. Now let's take a look at 33 for a quick moment. All right, now here's the best explanation here. P is the midpoint, correct? So let's put P in the middle. I'm putting N here. And I'm looking for what? I'm looking for Q. Does everybody agree with that? and N is 2, 0. And P is 5, 2. I never understood why kids had trouble with this, but a lot of kids do. Someone quickly tell me what Q is. Yeah, see, I'm with you. I don't understand why anybody would not know. That's just looking at that saying it's 8, 4. Everybody's good with 8, 4. Do they need an explanation? All right, Walt, explain it.
2 to 5 is 3.
Right. If you're in the middle, the distance that you travel has to be the same. So from 2 to 5 is how much? So if you stay in the middle, then you have to do what? Add 3. And then from 0 to 2, you what? And so in order to be in the middle, you have to add 2. All right. Everybody good with that? So now let's try 34 just to see how you're doing. And you don't have to draw it out if you don't need it. 5, 4. Someone else now. 6, 3. Speak up. So Q must have been what? Say it again, Sebastian. I'm good. Anybody having a problem with 7, 2? Easy, right? Very simple. Very simple. All right, so knock out 35. Do you guys have 36 through 46? All right, so what time's the bell ring? Who can tell me? What time was it?
It's Thursday, so
Yeah, I know it is weird. I asked you if you knew what time it was, not that it was weird. St. John's bell schedule for Thursday. We get out at what time? 34. So we have how many minutes? Yeah, we have like 4 minutes. So what we will do is we will try to we'll just try to do a couple of these. Man. No, everybody write down 45 and 46. Well, let's just do it together. You can just look up on the board. All right. Just look at 45. Everybody's looking at 45. It says find point X on MR. All right. So here is MR. All right. I don't know if you can see that very well. Find a point X that is 1/3 of the distance from M to R. 1/3 of the distance from M to R. What would it be? I don't think so. What would it be? Well, X would be on, you're right. X would be on what letter? Wouldn't that? So it's asking you to find the point X on MR that is 1/3 of the distance from M to R. That's what the question is. Maybe you misunderstood. Find the point X. X is somewhere on that MR that is 1/3 of the distance from M to R. What did you say? You still stand by your? Bless you. So so where does X go? Why does it go on N? Right. MR is what? 9. So what is 1/3 of that distance? 3. So it's just 3 units over. All right. So that's a little tricky. All right. Yeah. So X would be what? -1. All right. And it's a point. All right, so let's see if you can think about. Let's see if you can think about 46. Find the point Y. On NR. All right, so now I'm gonna highlight NR. Bless you. Somewhere on there. That is 2/3 of the distance from N to R. What do you think? Y is Q. Anybody else agree with that? What's NR? How long? 6. So 2/3 of 6. 4. All right. So 4 units from what? N. That was easy. All right. I don't know why kids had trouble with that last year. I thought that was hard. All right. So, you got lucky today, even though I don't think it was difficult. So you just have to finish everything that we didn't do. Does everybody agree with me? All right. I think we did almost everything, correct? Yeah, I don't know why. Did we do everything?
Yeah.
All right. So you guys lucked out.